The morning starts like any other in suburbia. Children eating breakfast, a father preparing for work, a mother too sick to rise from bed. But beneath this ordinary surface, something sinister churns. Judy Bruce lies in her bedroom, fever burning through her weakened body. At 34, she's finally found her voice, literally. Years of hiding behind a speech impediment from a cleft palate are over. Surgery has given her confidence, independence, a job at the hospital. She's become the woman she always wanted to be. Her husband Larry watches her sleep. Truck driver, father figure, predator. The children gather their books. Larry walks them to the bus stop, waving goodbye as they disappear around the corner. His performance is flawless. The concerned husband sending his kids to school before heading to work at Roadway Trucking. What the children don't know is that their mother is already dead. The children return to silence. Their mother, who never left them alone, is gone. Her car sits untouched in the driveway. Her purse remains on the nightstand beside bottles of medication. Silent witnesses to her last morning alive. When Larry returns from his perfectly documented workday, he calls police. His voice breaks with just the right amount of concern. The responding officers find a scene almost too clean. No signs of struggle, no broken windows, no forced entry. By dawn, the search ends at Charles Mill Lake Campground. A jogger spots something near the creek, a bundle wrapped in a familiar blanket. Inside lies Judy Bruce, suffocated in her own home and dumped like refuse in woods she'd never walked. The detail that chills investigators: her feet are immaculately clean, no dirt, no grass stains, no evidence she'd ever touched the ground where they found her. Someone carried her there, someone who knew exactly where to go. Larry Bruce's story is airtight. Time-stamped work records, verified schedules, witnesses who saw him acting normally throughout the day. He's the picture of a grieving widower, almost too perfect in his performance. But then he makes his first mistake. He tells his children the bed sheets are soiled from the family dog. He burns the bedding quickly, quietly, hoping to erase what they witnessed. He misses some pieces. Police find blood stains on a surviving pillowcase, unexplained stains on blankets. But 1978 forensic science is primitive. They can identify blood, not whose blood, not what secrets are written in those crimson marks. Days later, James Isaac, Judy's co-worker, dies in a traffic accident. Suddenly, Larry constructs a new narrative. Judy was having an affair. Isaac killed her in jealous rage, then killed himself from guilt. It's compelling fiction. There's just one problem. It's completely fabricated. 2 decades pass. 20 years of Larry Bruce walking free, remarrying, living in the same house where his wife drew her final breath. The bedroom where Judy died becomes his new marriage bed. The trunk that carried her body hauls groceries for family vacations. Larry grows comfortable, too comfortable. At Roadway Trucking, whispered conversations follow him through break rooms and parking lots. Co-workers notice something disturbing about how he discusses his dead wife. No grief, no remorse. Instead, there's something else entirely: pride. Larry Bruce begins to boast about his crime. He believes he outsmarted police, forensic experts, the entire justice system. He has gotten away with murder, and he wants people to know how clever he is. But bragging about perfection is dangerous when perfection is an illusion. By 2000, 17 cold cases gathered dust in Mansfield police files. 17 families without answers. 17 killers walking free. Community pressure mounts. Faith in justice crumbles. The county approves $25,000 for a cold case unit. Their first target, the murder that started it all. Detective Scott Reinbold inherits a box of evidence telling a 22-year-old story. Oak leaves preserved in plastic, dirt samples in manila envelopes, bed sheets stained with secrets, and a trunk liner that might hold the key to everything. One evening, Reinbold watches Forensic Files, an episode about plant DNA analysis, a case where a seed pod in a killer's truck was matched to a tree near the victim's body through botanical DNA. Those oak leaves found in Larry's trunk 20 years ago suddenly seem very interesting. The leaves are too degraded for DNA extraction, but they've awakened something more powerful than science: hope. DNA analysis, impossible in 1978, routine in 2000, reveals the stains on bedding are semen. One sample matches Larry Bruce, the other remains unknown. To test Larry's affair theory, investigators exhume James Isaac's body. The DNA doesn't match. The affair was fiction. The accusation, pure deflection. Forensic geologist Dick Bisbing examines dirt scraped from Larry's shoes 2 decades earlier. Under polarized light, mineral grains transform into colored crystals, each revealing its unique identity. The soil contains calcite, calcium carbonate from limestone, the same limestone used to pave roads near where Judy's body was dumped. For the first time, they have Larry Bruce at the scene. But the final piece comes from fiber analysis. Using technology that didn't exist when Judy died, forensic scientist Curtis Jones makes a startling discovery. 3 synthetic rayon fibers from Larry's trunk liner perfectly match fibers found on the blanket wrapped around Judy's body. Not similar, identical. The evidence doesn't lie. It never has. 23 years after the murder, Larry Bruce finally faces trial. But the prosecution's most devastating weapon isn't science, it's his stepdaughter. When 9-year-old Melody Phillips takes the witness stand, she shatters Larry's carefully constructed image. For 9 years, from age 5 to 14, he'd sexually abused her. Judy discovered this horror shortly before her death. She'd walked into Melody's bedroom at the worst possible moment, witnessing her husband's violation of her daughter. The confrontation that follows is explosive. Judy's fury unleashes years of suspicion and fear. She threatens to call police and promises to expose him to the world. In his rage, Larry swings at his wife, missing but punching the wall so hard he shatters bones in his own hand. But breaking his hand wasn't enough to stop him. In Larry's twisted mind, Judy had become a threat requiring elimination. She was the only witness to his crimes. The only person who could destroy the life he'd built on lies and violence. Judy's murder wasn't passion. It was calculated execution to protect a predator's secret. The pieces click into place with sickening clarity. The prosecution's timeline is devastating. Larry kills his wife while she's sick and vulnerable. He wraps her body in the blanket that will later betray him and loads it into his Cadillac's trunk. He drives the children to the bus stop, establishing his alibi with innocent waves goodbye. Then he goes to work, maintaining his schedule like clockwork. After his shift, he makes one final stop: the campground where hunters gather, where no one will look until morning, where he dumps his wife's body and walks away, thinking he's covered every trace. The defense scrambles to discredit forensic evidence. They argue circumstantial proof. No smoking gun, no confession, no direct witnesses. But prosecutor James Mayer has built an unshakable case. Fiber evidence places Judy's body in Larry's trunk. Limestone particles put his shoes at the dump site. DNA analysis destroys his fabricated affair story. And Melody's testimony provides the motive that ties everything together. The jury deliberates for less than 2 hours. The verdict is guilty of murder. Larry Bruce receives 15 years to life. His perfect crime is finally exposed by the very science he believed would never catch up to him. The children Larry tried to protect with his alibi became the instruments of his downfall. His son testified that Judy showed no signs of life when he asked for a permission slip that morning. She was already dead. Melody found courage to speak truth about years of abuse, giving prosecutors the motive they needed. 23 years after Judy Bruce drew her last breath, her killer finally faced justice. The perfect crime turned out to be perfectly flawed. It just took 2 decades for technology to reveal the cracks. Oak leaves, limestone particles, synthetic rayon fibers, microscopic evidence that waited patiently while a murderer walked free, bragging about his intelligence. In the end, the smallest details brought down the biggest lie. Because while Larry Bruce thought he'd committed the perfect crime, he forgot one universal truth. Evidence doesn't age, it doesn't forget, and it never lies. The truth always surfaces, no matter how deep you bury it, even if it takes 23 years.